So, very abruptly continuing here. Here I still am in Żelazkeho, getting ready to leave. Żelazkeho, as I was saying, uses standardized parts, including the so-called cheese tiles, which are different colors depending on which station you're in. The idea was that even though standardized parts could be used, the stations had to look very different from each other, so that people didn't get confused. And you see that up to the present day, that they try to make each station that they build look different from all the others. Hence my ability to spot Prosek earlier, which is one of the very few stations which is above ground, actually. But, in any case, I'm continuing my way here. Like all subway trains, these 8171s accelerate very, very fast. At least by the standards of trains, anyway. And that is partly why you have to be careful about your braking, because your braking is good, but not as spectacular as you would expect it to be. And so you have to time it right if you want to stop smoothly. And here I'm coming in a little bit fast, so then I sort of overdo it and I have to ease off. And you can see this again and again on this video where I'm struggling to get the right balance. There's the so-called cheese tiling again, but in different colors, as you can see. Because Flora is a different station and they don't want the passengers to be confused. And this is pretty much exactly how it looks in real life. They didn't get the color balance wrong or anything. It's just what Flora looks like. In real life, the Flora station is the access also to the Palace Flora shopping center. And that connection was added since I moved here, because they only opened that place since I moved here. So here, train departs again. It's not surprising to me that these trains are more or less timed to the second, because they are metro trains, and your displays here facilitate your down to the second performance. I'm a few seconds off in most of these stops, actually. Again, because I'm being fairly careful. You may have noticed the digital clocks for the platform are down to the second, but also have a little green counter which tells you when the last train departed. It gives you an idea about headway if you're a railway worker, and if you're a passenger, it gives you a little bit of a clue about when the next train will get there, depending on the time of day. So here's Yeshihosh Podibrad, and there you can see the clock. But I'm jumping here to the CCTV view at the other end of the platform to operate the doors. And as before, the AI passengers get on, but they don't really walk because the developers chose not to add that. They seem to be maybe even two-dimensional cutouts, in fact, which some people use in train simulators. They're not really a problem until you're in a situation like this, where you actually get a good look at them. Here I'm a little bit slow in departure because I didn't cut the brakes fully off. So here I'm on full throttle again, heading out. There doesn't seem to be any wheel slip in this at all, which I suppose is a plausible scenario in real life because of the number of axles that have traction motors on them. Which also explains the braking power. So, zipping right along. These trains operate at about 80 kilometers per hour, even though you can't see the speedometer very well there. That's what it's reading. Although there are sections of the line where you're supposed to go slower, and as you'll see, I sometimes speed, as right there. And when you speed, of course, it isn't just bad for the track and bad for the train, it's also a problem for stopping, because here I stood on the brakes and I'm having trouble spotting the train now. Náměstí Míru was the original southern terminus of the A line when they first built it in 1978. They mostly extended it south until the Motul extension in recent years.
Ukončete prosím výstup a nástup. Dveře se zavírají.
So I'm basically waiting for it to load there. And then I depart. I still am rather impressed by how they modeled the clocks there. I mean, you can criticize the AI passengers, but their modeling of the clocks is really shockingly realistic. There's the turn-off for the turnaround, if you will, from the old days when Náměstí Míru was the terminus. Now I'm having to stand on the brakes because the museum station is actually very close to Náměstí Míru. I have a little bit of trouble bringing the speed down here because it's so tight. Actually, I've got full brakes on. Then I overdo it, stop the train, have to hit the horn and pull up again. Every now and then I see a real-life driver do this, actually. And when they're doing an unscheduled start, they have to blast the horn, so I tried to be realistic there.
Muzeum. Přestupní stanice.
I don't know exactly the statistics, but my understanding is Museum is the second busiest station on the line. By a hair. Můstek is almost a tie, and that's the next station. Můstek is very busy not just because it's the junction of two lines, the yellow and the green, same as Museum is the red and the green, but also it has some shops just below street level. And it has several different just below street level chambers, if you will. So Můstek is very complicated. And as you'll see, by force of habit, I punch it a little bit too hard coming out of Museum. So as I approach Můstek, first of all, I'm over the speed limit, and second of all, I have a little bit of trouble braking here, as you'll see. See, over the limit there. If you look down on the lower left there where the diagram is displayed on the computer screen. Again, way out of practice on this. I'm just not very sharp at the moment. So there I'm standing on the brakes trying to bring it to a stop in time because it's coming into Můstek too fast. And then I finally bring it down and I can inch it up. Strangely, it has a yellow theme on the green line platforms, even though the yellow line is elsewhere. A different level at the station, actually.